Hello and welcome, and today we'll take a look at a comic called MarshalLAW. I think this is the original Billy Butcher. This is the boys because before there was the boys. Maybe this is the because there is something like the boys and a shaky cam. I shouldn't touch it so much. So, Pat Mills, I think, and one of my favorites, Kevin O'Neill. I think this would be an awesome thumbnail. And let me introduce you to MarshalLAW. Well, this guy hunts superheroes, and I think this was created before The Boys, and it feels a bit like what if Judge Dredd was a superhero hunter. So which one is the number one? Let me see. This is not the number one. I don't know. These are not numbered. I found this when I was at a German Comic Con, and somewhere in the €1 comics classification. So let me give you an introduction to MarshalLAW. It's Pat Mills. It's written really good. Like, it is fun, it kicks balls, and it goes really deep. Stay until the end. I will spoil a few things, but it will make you maybe a bit more intrigued to get some of these issues because they're really good. Like, Pat Mills knows how to write. Kevin O'Neill knows how to draw, and it's number one, The Rise of Zombies. And we get an introduction. Let me give us a bit better light. And it's the War of the Future. So they're called shock troopers, and America, of course, doesn't want to lose any war. I don't know if this is before Watchmen, after Watchmen. Let me see. What time is it? It is 1991. So I think probably after Watchmen. So it's a future war, or a war that was, and America creates super soldiers and superheroes to send them, as you can see, to Vietnam. And there is something like Superman and different other superheroes, and they start to create definitely superheroes for the war. But after the war, these superheroes are getting retired, and SUPS are declared illegal, and just one guy is now out there here. He's kind of a bit like Batman and Judge Dredd, and he's cleaning up the streets, and this guy is called MarshalLAW. No, come on, zoom in, baby. It's called MarshalLAW, and this is what he sports. This is his ride, and this is his attire, Fear and Loathing, and he looks like a police officer, and we won't see his face until the end of the issue. And MarshalLAW is the ultimate superhero hunter, and this guy, I don't know what's his name. He's definitely something like a Superman, but MarshalLAW retires him, and they battle it out till the bitter end. And Pat Mills explains a bit the situations, the politics, and the response is violence from MarshalLAW, and he shuts everybody else down. He's pretty much the only superhero that is left, and every other superhero, it's pretty much also a dystopian future, as you can see down here in the panel. And the other superheroes are trying to... It's also a bit of Blade Runner in this. That's really fun. And the other superheroes are trying to get by, and because they can take so much pain, superheroes are kind of, normal people go to those superheroes. They kind of pay to beat them up. It's kind of like prostitution. So the once brave and beautiful superheroes are now pretty much the scum of society. They once fought in the war and are now betrayed by society in the worst kind of way. And once in a while, one of those superheroes goes rogue, and MarshalLAW investigates like this was a normal human, and these are some of the pleasure houses, and MarshalLAW is checking out, okay, knives and other things, and well, this would also be a banger thumbnail. And MarshalLAW totally relates with the superheroes, but he's here to enforce the law and to solve a crime. So he's checking out the bars and looking for a superhero who's gone rogue, and he's checking out who could be the murderer. And he finds, where is it? He finds all kinds of people, and one is on the run, and then there's a great conspiracy in the background, and we're getting that some of the superheroes are trying to get back at him, like they want to kill him and take over. And he finds this big guy, what's his name, Razorhead, and look at the artwork, like really impressive stuff from Kevin O'Neill. And stick with me, like I have a great issue that deals with a Batman type of character, and that is really, really shocking and beautifully written and beautifully drawn. Like this is so amazing. I like the Kevin O'Neill. I think this guy can really, really draw. Like he has like a certain flow, a certain style to him. It is just amazing. Like it feels like really gritty, really dark. Like the shapes, the violence. Like here, the whacking is like really amazing. Everything feels so pointy and very, very forceful and really, really dramatic. Like look at this, like borderline ugly, but you cannot deny the energy in these panels. Like pretty amazing. Also the design, and MarshalLAW definitely has to clean up a lot of these guys. But at a certain point, he realizes that all the SUPS are here to get him and to finally turn the tables around. And he begins sweating because he now understands that one of the biggest foes that ever was is going to be revived, because all of these retired superheroes are sick and tired to kneel to a society that created them and then threw them away. So kind of very, very philosophical. I have some vibes like in The Rock with Sean Connery, and this is kind of like a Joker type, and really beautifully. And MarshalLAW takes it all on the chin, gets buried alive, and some pretty crazy fights always. And I don't want to spoil this too much, but I don't know. Let me show you his face, because this will be interesting. Like finally, at a certain point, he reveals what's under his mask. So if you don't want to watch this, skip it. But then we see his mask, and it's revealed that he looks like pretty normal, pretty beautiful, heroic stuff. And I have to say, although he yields to the powers that are in the institutions in this dystopian future, he has definitely a moral compass, and some pretty dramatic stuff is going on here. And yeah, so issue 2. This is the Batman issue. Wait for this one. This is awesome. And this is like issue 2, where things, we will see what then. We will take a peek into his past and to his love. Again, written really beautifully, and the artwork is also really great. And it's so amazing. Like, this is so bonkers. I can't even tell you. Like, some of the designs, some of the drawings, the things they say, it's just so beautiful. It's so much fun. And here we have a Captain America type of character. And yeah, I mean, this feels like The Boys before there was even The Boys. As you can see, some super serums and some stuff that is not so heroic. And here they find some Nazi serums, and they abuse it, and then they go back to America. I don't know really, like, but great stuff, like great storytelling. So I'm just exposing you to this. And if you stayed up until this point, this is now the episode where we come MarshalLAW versus a Batman type of character. And this Batman type of character is this is Kingdom of the Blind, and this Batman type of character lives in this beautiful, look at this, like, this is like the Wayne mansion. This is the place. And let me put this down a bit. Let me see if we can get a bit lower. If not, like, beautifully, just blocky shapes, everything looks great. And then this Bruce Wayne type of characters wakes up, and from the beginning we realize he has a god complex. Every night I have the same dream. Hundreds of gasping hands reaching out, scratching and shoving and clubbing, trying to break through a protective dome over the city. Every night they come again, wanting to be let in, wanting to take it all away from me. Animals tapping on the glass, grinding at me with greed-filled eyes. It's only when you get them really close to it. It's only when you get them really close to them you realize how disgusting they are. Parasites, sickos, dog meat, diseased. And like, this is our Batman kind of character, and he's a bit like American Psycho. And he wakes up, and this is his costume, and he has some razor blades and stuff like that. And he goes out to kind of cure the city. This is also very beautiful. My power to make money is a gift of God. It is my sacred duty to conserve it, to guard it, and avoid at all costs the unwashed getting their hands on it. This is so great. The condition under which God has given me his gift is eternal vigilance. Do you approve, Father? Do you give my work your blessing? It was you who first taught me what to do. You taught me how to love the dark. Before that night, we came out of the video rental shop, and the gunman sent you and Mom into eternal darkness. So we get here pretty much the Batman origin, but in a very, very disturbed and Patrick Bateman way. And so there's a guy, and he's robbing a liquor store, and I don't know what's his name. Let me see. He's the vigilant. I don't know, but he's the kind of Batman. And so he finds this guy who robbed the store, and then he says, I have to operate on you, And this guy says, no, bring me to jail. I want redemption, or I want to go to jail. And he says, you must not presume to know what is best for you, just as the sick cannot diagnose themselves, but must look to the medical experts. And then, so you should leave the diagnosis and treatment of your illness to me, for I am the specialist in criminal disorders. And yeah, pretty sick stuff. And pretty beautifully. And then MarshalLAW comes in and is doing, he's hunting a guy named Gangrene, again, some really big, tough guy, and hunting and fighting and getting them to concede. But then, once he got this guy he was searching for, and he wants to shoot him, he kind of realizes that something else is going on here. He hears from the other side somebody, and then he sees, Private Eye, it's his name. And he says, Private Eye. And then he looks down and he sees that Private Eye is doing some illegal stuff, because like MarshalLAW is the only one who can enforce the law, and all the other vigilantes are to be shut down. And he says, the Private Eye says, good evening, Marshal. And he says, hey, stop. I'm warning you, Private Eye, stop or I'll fire. And then Private Eye says, somehow I don't think so, Marshal. And then Marshal stands there with his gun and sees Private Eye just getting away. And this guy who robbed a liquor store says, why don't you shoot the crazy bastard? He cut my fingers off, man. Said it was 10 years in the pen or 10 fingers. See? He left you free. Time off for good behavior. That's the street surgeon usual remedy for liquor store holdups. You're lucky you didn't rob a bank. That would have cost you an arm and a leg. It's not funny. He's ruined my hands. Yeah, pity. He didn't go after your toes, but I guess I wasn't a toes offense. I don't believe this. MarshalLAW, the hero hunter, siding with a hero. Why? What's so special about the Private Eye? And then we get just a beautiful, awesome pause. I mean, look at this. I mean, what do I have to say? And Private Eye is doing his vigilante thing, and again, some really sick stuff going on. We get here some superhero pose, but of course, some of the superheroes are very great sickos, and at a certain point, we get here the origin story. So this is now pretty heavy spoiler, sight and sound video. And we see here a shooter, and then we see here, this is the family of our Private Eye, Bruce Wayne, and his mom gets shot. She falls. Another shot. His dad goes flying, hits some garbage can, and then we see here the shooter, and his father is bleeding out. And then he says, "You've done well, Albert. I've always looked after your interests, young master. Now, let me finish him off." And this is a great moment. And then we go here and we see here the son. "Why, son? Why? Open your mouth. Pop." And then he shoots his father. And we see here the videotape forming a money sign. And this is the Private Eye's, how do you say, where his mother and father are buried, and he goes there and he visits them, and we have, well, the beautiful, where do we see him? Like, we think now that the Private Eye is a pretty sick man because he shot his parents, and then the story does another twist and turn. Again, spoiler, go and grab yourself an issue and read it, but then if you gonna watch it, like, soak it up. And then we're gonna see that his parents were kind of rich researchers, and they were doing all kinds of cruel experiments with animals and cats, and always like fascinated about the thing You found out that cats with eyes sewn up couldn't see after the stitches were removed. But it's all right, Scott. Kittens like living in the dark. Like, the parents were just pretty freaking sick, and then they take his dog and they make experiments on his dog, and he kind of starts to hate his parents, and he finds out that his parents just got him to do research on him. So they raise a pretty dysfunctional child. It's like kind of like Homelander, but really the disturbed people are his parents. Like, they're pretty sick. They're always doing some brutal stuff with like the young Private Eye, and so I think at this point you know that they deserve to die. But Private Eye gets trained because like their parents are training him to live in the dark, and that's when he says, "And now I learned to love the dark, and sometimes I'd make up stories I used to pretend." And then the father says, "Scott has created an imaginary friend to help him cope with his disability. This companion appears to advise him on his conduct. Do it soon, Scott, now." Like, beautifully drawn, his mother. And yeah, but really, it was you, father, always you. Like, some pretty dysfunctional stuff, some beautiful stories, and then we see a final showdown. MarshalLAW is thinking about taking down the Private Eye, and I mean, look at this art. I mean, look at it. Just beautifully. Something that like this would also be a great thumbnail. Beautiful. And yeah, so martial art finds the Private Eye, the sicko, and then they go at it, and they battle a final battle. I don't know how many issues are out there, but this is just great stuff. I mean, you can argue you can find somewhere better drawings, but Kevin O'Neill, just like the intensity and the shapes and the stuff that he does with his pencils and inks are just amazing. Like, the storytelling is on another level, and that is really, really great. Well, I think I come to the end of this review. I have only those 3 books, but I wanted to tell you, like, there is something out there, and it's called MarshalLAW, and it's really, really amazing. There is a guy out there, Pat Mills and Kevin O'Neill, and this are true cornerstones of comic history. And yeah, the boys before there were the boys. And I do kind of also love Garth Ennis. Check out Bloody Mary and Preacher. I don't agree with everything Garth Ennis does. At some points, I think he's a bit of a moron. But the comics he does are pretty amazing and also fun. And I love the dark and gritty tones of it. Yeah, so I hope you had fun, and we see us.